Dole or development, freebies, benefits or bribes, what you might call it, electioneering has changed and so has the voter. And I can say it firsthand of being on the ground in this 5-state election over time. You can see how transactional the voter on ground has become. Clearly, which has changed the kind of campaigning or what political parties have to offer. The old metrics of caste, religion, I'm not saying they don't exist, but there is something bigger where the voter will look at you and what you have to offer. Well, let's cut across for this debate to our political panelists this evening. Joining me, Ms. Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party, Mahima Singh, National Spokesperson, Congress, Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist and commentator, election analyst and researcher. Before I cut across to our political panelists, I'd like to go to Mr. Amitabh Tiwari if he's with us. All right, we don't have Amitabh Tiwari. We're going to cut across to him in just a while. But Sanju, let me come to you. You know, not many elections ago, I would reckon 2.5 years back, 2020, the Prime Minister in his speech had spoken of something he called Revdi culture. Sanju, what has happened over time is, agar aur koi kare to Revdi aur agar aap kare to welfarism.
You do your homework thoroughly before every show of yours, and so do I, especially when I'm on your show. So let me just tell you this, that in 2013, there was the famous, Subramaniam Balaji versus the state of Tamil Nadu case, wherein the Supreme Court, the matter went up all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that in a country like India, welfarism is a must, and, doling out election promises cannot be said to be something that is non-kosher, and people who say that, it is criminal to promise stuff prior to election and action should be taken as per Article 1, Section 123 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951. The Supreme Court said nothing doing. Section 123 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951 lagu nahi hota hai because you need to give guarantees and promises that are deliverable. This is the Supreme Court judgment in 2013. Now, since January 2022 and even last Wednesday, the entire matter has come up before Justice Chandrachud. And I think you will see a lot of back and forth happening on this count because the line between what is Revdi and what is welfarism is very thin. And it can often tend to be subjective and get lost. And, it's very tough to be objective in a developing country like India and say, ki nahi bhai, hum muft ka ration nahi denge, muft ki bijli nahi denge, muft ka pani nahi denge. But then what should be done and what exactly is Revdi culture and why is it different from welfarism? I will tell you, and I will wear my hat as both the national spokesperson of BJP and the hat of an economist. And I'll tell you that the line is this. Himachal ke election se pehle, and I have studied the Himachal budget before coming on your show and the Karnataka budget. Himachal budget ke pehle, we did not have OPS. Himachal election ke pehle, pardon me. The Congress stormed to power primarily on the premise of getting the old pension system back. I was just looking at the budget numbers for this financial year put out by the Congress government, and they say that hamara annual revenue is around 36,000 crore in Himachal. Hamara annual expenditure is around 46,000 crore, which is fine. For a small state like Himachal Pradesh, a 10,000 crore budget deficit is kosher. But galti kahan ho rahi hai? In fact, this galti can prove to be very costly. Is the fact that the Himachal government has admitted, the Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu government has admitted that out of a revenue of 36,000 crore every year, 80% is committed expenditure. Committed expenditure ka matlab salaries, pension and interest on loans taken. You can neither stop paying salaries to government employees, you cannot stop paying pension to employees, you cannot stop paying interest on the loans taken because otherwise you will be called a state that has defaulted. Basically, 36,000 crore salana income se roughly 29,000 crore is committed expenditure. Isko bolte hai Revdi. And the entire equation jagmaga gaya once the NPS was replaced by OPS. Because out of this committed expenditure, the biggest chunk is taken by pension liability. This is called Revdism. Yeah, this is called welfarism. Yeah, aapki janata decide karegi. But the BJP was also giving pensions to government employees, but it was doing so under the NPS, where the liability was a funded liability. In the OPS case, the liability becomes an unfunded liability. The state is thrown into the throes of a spiraling debt burden. The fiscal health, the budgetary deficit, the revenue deficit are spiraling out of control. This is the classic case of how welfarism has turned into Revdi culture when you replace NCS with OPS. And just in 10 seconds more, you know, I'm not saying that we have not promised clean drinking water, electricity, unemployment allowance. You know, like I said, all that is perhaps kosher given the, nature of the beast in terms of where the economy is. We are doing, exceedingly well. And, there's a path that has to be taken. But Karnataka, I will just, and this is based on the India Today analysis. One of the best analysis that I saw for the Karnataka Congress government taking charge, इन्होंने बोला बिजली भी मुफ्त, पानी भी मुफ्त, bus rides भी मुफ्त, electricity मुफ्त, and they said 7 kg ration भी मुफ्त देंगे to every, woman in the household. Now, just in 10 seconds, I'll tell you. When we were in power, Preeti, the annual income of Karnataka used to be between 1.9 to 2 lakh crore. And the annual expenditure used to be in the region of 2.5 to 2.6 lakh crore. And for an economy like Karnataka, the size of Karnataka's economy is 26 lakh crore. So running a budget deficit of 50 to 60,000 crore is pretty much okay. Now, once the Congress started implementing its Revdis, and I don't call it welfarism because the fiscal health has been brutally impaired. B.K. Shivkumar said that because of our promises of XYZ, the expenditure now will not be 2.5 lakh crore, it will be annually 4 lakh crore. And despite 4 lakh crore of expenditure, we don't have money to spend on development.
Sanju Verma, that's why you've given out a lot of figures over the course of the last 4.5 minutes. But let me also tell you, what you're blaming the Congress for, that they dispense Revdi while you look at welfarism. Let me, allow me to also give you a figure. Madam, do you know the last 10 months of the Ladli Behna Yojana in Madhya Pradesh has cost the Madhya Pradesh government, which is in debt, how much? 11,000 crores. Just the last 10 months. Sanju Verma. Now, the payout has started from June 2023. It's a direct cash transfer. I have been on ground where if you go and speak to the Adivasis, they say it's a great scheme because they haven't seen 1,250 rupees coming in every 10th of every month into their bank accounts. You go to Bhopal and you speak to your bureaucracy, they are clueless from where you're going to get the money from because all your other schemes have stopped at the cost of dispensing this 11,000 crore over the last 10 months alone. So what you're blaming the Congress for, Sanju Verma, you find yourself equally guilty, but I want to bring in right now. I'll come back to you, ma'am. You've spoken. Ma'am, I'll come back to you on this question. Allow me to open the debate and I will come back. It'll give you 2 more minutes to think about it, what the answer is.